Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Here today we've got episode 2 of our franchise battle with Stanley Gaming. You saw at the end of episode 1 that we won the third pick in the draft lottery, falling from 1 to 3, and now we're going to jump straight into the draft. I'm still leaning towards Misa or Martone, well, just going to depend what the Sharks and the Penguins do. See, So yeah, Frazee goes first like I thought he would. Center playmaker, 82 overall, elite medium. It's going to be a good pick to go with Smith and Celebrini. And yeah, exactly like I thought, the Pittsburgh Penguins get Schaefer. Now that leaves us with a slew of options. At center, you have Misa and Haggins, and at winger, you have Martone. Frondell's a center, and then defensively, you have Jackson Smith. Starting with Smith, he had only 37 points in 67 games played. I don't think that's too good. They've got him as NHL ready, which I don't think he's actually NHL ready. He's the only scouted player here I would draft. The rest, it's all unknown. As you can see, there's no reports on the players. Let me go up to Mises. There's no reports on these players, so I'm leaning more towards Misa or Martone. Yeah, Martone's 6'3", 196, and Misa's just 6 foot, 182. Misa's rated to go third. We're gonna take him third. Welcome to the Seattle Storm Bears, 79 overall, medium elite. Let's see who the Blackhawks end up taking. Haggins, 78 overall. And with the 5th pick, the Flyers take Martone, 78. So we didn't have a wrong pick necessarily. I don't think any of the picks would have been wrong. We have the highest overall rated player. Most likely can just jump right into the NHL. You can see elite edges, make it snappy, tape to tape in third eye. Tape to tape in third eye, that's going to help him get some line chemistry if we can get any other players with abilities as well. Let's take a look at Haggins. He's got no abilities, 78 overall depth forward. And then Martone also with no ability. So I guess we kind of did get the best player just because one overall better in the abilities. But time will tell who's going to grow into the. Here we are. I just simulated the rest of the first round. We're going to see Smith went 6th. You got Frondell, Desnoyer, O'Brien, Eklund. Lots of top 6 forward highs and just mediums. See if there's any crazy steals that happened. You can see the overalls are high for the most part, so that's decent. Yeah, it looks like there's no real steals so far. And then you can see the Predators had the last pick. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce his last name, sorry, but first name Henry, 68 overall, top 4D. Now here we have the first pick in the second round. See if there's anybody scouted. You got Sasha Boomdinin. You got Nesbitt, Murtaugh. You get the goalie Ravensbergen. I'm pretty happy with our goaltending prospects so far, and we got a forward in Misa, so we're gonna take Boomdinin with the first pick in the second round. Nice, 70 overall, top 4D. He can jump right into the AHL. Hopefully he's gonna be in the NHL in a couple years' time. So I simulated up to round 3. We're going to take a look and see if there's anybody who's going to be a steal at this point. If we can pick somebody up that's got a chance to grow into something huge. If not, we'll just take the best player available and then we'll sim the rest of the draft. Looking here, we already looked in the end of video 1. There's no busts and there's no gems. So you have Latin, Medvedev, Sharp. I like Sharp. He's got 2 bars to elite medium, so we're gonna take a swing. And not the best player we could have had. 65 overall, top 6D. And yeah, Medvedev starter high. That one's gonna hurt for a little while. And we'll go with a couple more picks here. You got Katzen, top 9 forward. You got top 6, 2 top 6Ds there. So yeah, I think that Medvedev would have been the better option, but we're getting pretty much the same thing as everybody else, so not a terrible pick at all. And yeah, there's the end of the draft. I think it's a pretty good draft for us. Still have yet to make a trade or any free agent signing, but obviously that's going to change here. Let's take a look. We'll get right into re-signing our coaches if any are up, our scouts, and obviously our players. I haven't even taken a look yet to see if any of our players got any growth. You can see there's a couple of scouts that we're going to have to deal with. Re-sign these players. So yeah, Michael Misa, the best player in our organization, offer you a contract. You're probably going to come into the NHL right away. Senny needs a deal at 78 overall depth forward. We'll keep him. Not a bad idea to keep some of these guys. Most of them can start filling out the AHL roster as we look towards some improvement in the NHL. We're definitely going to target some free agents. The goal is to target guys in free agency who are around like 26, 27, because it's going to be a longer rebuild. So hopefully by the time those guys are 28, 29, 30, we're ready to compete. We still want to be a bad team for a few years. We want a shot at McKenna and whoever else is to come in the 2027 draft and beyond. Now, here we are at the start of free agency. All I did for the players who were expired, I brought everyone back who was 70 overall or higher, but also that they were 26 or younger. If they couldn't be qualified, I let them go, and if they were lower than 70 overall, I just let them go. Since we're a young franchise, obviously only our second year, I feel like I want our whole organization to be fairly young. Most of those players we brought back will only be in the AHL. Very few players will be the same in the NHL this year, especially if we're going to have Misa playing the NHL. I at least want him to be surrounded by some talent. And as you can see, free agency, you have Mitch Marner, the big fish, wants $15 million a year. Brad Marchand. Evan Bouchard is restricted, so we're not even going to bother. You got Brock Besser, wants $12.525 million. Holy guy. After having 34 goals and 49 assists, do you think you get 12.5? I don't think so, buddy. That's McDavid money. A Pew Suter, Giroux, Sod, Granlund, Ben, Provorov, Bowen Byram. Now that's intriguing. I know he's a restricted free agent. I would be willing to make a trade for him. He's one of my favorite defensemen in real life. I love adding him to any franchise mode that I can. He's got top 4D high, and in real life, the big deal with him is he wants to go somewhere where he can be a number one defenseman. Well, if he comes to us, he's going to be a number one defenseman. So that's a trade we're going to look into for sure. Got Bjugstad and Orlov. Nobody really else that intriguing. I mean, most of the guys are restricted. So the only issue with going after them is then losing draft picks. So I'm going to go see what we can do for a trade for Bowen Byram before we sign any free. So here we are with the Buffalo Sabres. We got Bowen Byram, top 4D high. He doesn't have a lot of value, which is good because we don't have any value to trade. Obviously, our two top picks from this draft have our highest value. Cassini's got a little bit of value, but they don't want him. Yeah, the only player they want is Boom Dene. We're not going to get rid of him. They don't want any goalies besides Rempinen. And we're not going to trade him. He's obviously the future in net for us. Draft picks, I would be okay if we gave up a 2026 third and a 2027 third. Now, I don't think that's going to go through, but that's at least where we're going to start the framework. Trade rejected, we're just too far off. So what we'll do is we'll take off the third and we'll upgrade that to a second. So we'll do a 2026 third with a 2027 second. Let's see if that one goes through. There you go, trade accepted. That's pretty good. Even though the value is skewed a little bit in their favor, like they got the better deal. When you can get a top defenseman for only a second and a third, that's not bad at all. So here we go back to free agency. I think I want to throw an offer towards Besser. Now we're gonna negotiate with him, I think, instead of just giving him exactly what he wants, because I don't think I want to give him 12.5 for 7 years. But I think if we negotiate and get him to agree to a 2-year deal, we could trade him at either this um this trade deadline coming up, or we could trade him obviously in the last year of his deal. But this would be purely you bring the guy in, he plays with Misa for either a full year or at least half a year, and then you trade him and you get some prospects or a pick back. I think that's a good idea. Another guy I was thinking of to bring back on defense is Provorov. He's 28. He only wants 6 mil. He'd be a good pairing to have with Byram, or you split them up. But either way, I think he's a good D-man to add. We want to start getting some talent here. Again, we know we're going to be a bad team. We want to be a bad team, but the talent has to start trickling in. Goalie-wise, we're going to need 2 new goalies. Lucas Dostal, that's a unrestricted free agent. Oh, wow. Why didn't they qualify him? That's interesting. We're immediately going to offer this guy a contract. He wants 5.5 for 4 years. 5 years, the interest only goes down a little bit. So 5 years, and we go 5.7. I accept your offer. Welcome to the Storm Bears, Dossel. That's a great trade for us. Or great signing for us, sorry. I can't believe they didn't qualify him or sign him. Very interesting. We'll have to go take a look at their goalie situation here. That was the Ducks he should have been with. And then you got Lyon, Allen, Reimer. I'm gonna go with James Reimer, even though he's 37. This is a guy who's he's on the brink of retirement. He just wants to get some games in. I don't think he cares where it is. And yeah, he signs with us, so clearly that was good enough for him. And defensively, we are going to go after Provorov. And instead of just offering him right away, we're going to negotiate. We're going to try this feature out and see if we can charm the player, what we can do here to get a good contract for both sides. So we'll start with the contract. He likes our organization, so he wants a 6-year deal. I'm thinking 4. 6 is a lot. A 4-year deal. He wants $4.85 million. I can improve that. We have lots of cap space. We got to get to the cap floor. I'll increase the salary by $1 million. We'll give you 5.85 for 4 years. And we'll make some promises here to the player. We will guarantee that he plays on pairing 1. And we'll make one more promise. We'll guarantee that he gets power play time. And let's see what he has to say. He likes the contract. He likes the organization. I think it's a good deal for us. I'll get back to you in a few days. Okay, so there's the first one. He doesn't sign right away. We're going to look at age. There we go. Age. Jeff Petrie, 37. We need some guys that are just not good enough to be in teams' lines every night, that we can have in our lines every night to just eat some cap. So Chad Ruedel right here, he only wants 1.25 for 1 year. We're gonna offer him 10 mil. We need some guys to eat cap with 58 million in cap space available. And yeah, signs right away. See if we can find a forward now like that. Same thing. Yeah, Corey Perry, Linus Allmark. Oh, that's not Linus Allmark. Oh, it is. You got Lewis, O'Reilly, Radulov, Shipachev. That's who we're going to go after, Shipachev and Radulov. We'll get both those guys 1 year deals. We'll get the matching contracts. 1 year, 6 mil a piece. Said we just need to start getting a bit more skilled guys, and obviously we just need players to eat cap that are not on long-term deals. So there's Shipachev. Now we'll do Radulov. Yeah, $42 million in cap space still. Well, we'll give Radulov more. We'll give Radulov 10. 10.1 for Radulov. Yeah, not too sure from here where to go. I don't think we're going to go after any more like high-end talent, right? Like we could go after Marner, Marchand, and Besser. We have the cap space to do so, but it doesn't really make the most sense. I mean, I think Besser would be the best one to go for because he's still young enough that there's going to be time after if he did a short deal with us to compete. But at 12.525, it's just not, like, that's just not good money. If we can negotiate with him and see, we'll just be neutral. We don't want to charm him and risk ruining the relationship even more. We'll start with the contract. We'll go 2-year deal. And we can improve the offer. We could go 2 years. And we can, I wonder how much it will let us increase the salary. 3 mil. So we could pay him 13 mil for 2 years. We're not going to have any big names up, so we can afford it. He wants a clause. Okay, we'll add a clause. We'll add a modified no trade, because we, again, the whole point of bringing you in is we want to be able to trade you. There you go, 17 in year 1, 12 in year 2. We need to address my playing time demands to move forward. Yeah, line 1, that's what you want, that's what we've got. Promises. We'll promise you power play 1 as well. And we will promise that you do not penalty kill. Still doesn't meet his expectations. Let's see about increasing the salary. Again, we have money. Again, we're not going to have any big fish up. We give him 15.6 for 2 mil. For 15.6 million for 2 years. He wants that. Or at least is willing to think about it anyways. Alright, so we got 2 guys we'll get back to in a couple days. So I'm going to cut it here. I'm going to go set up our scouting off camera as well as scope out some coaches, and we'll come back right after. Taking a look at some coaches that are available, and the only 2 that stand out are Rick Tocchet and Montgomery. Now Tocchet is all A pluses everywhere except for penalty kill, and Montgomery's got some work to be done there, mostly A's with a B. And then you have Mason McNabb, not looking very good. Other than that, I mean, Brent Burns. You know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to offer Brent Burns to be the head coach. Let him grow with us. Like, we're a bad team right now. He's not the best coach. He's actually better than what we have now by a little bit. Yeah, I think he's better than what we have by a little bit, so we can just fire this guy. And hopefully Burns signs with us. If not, we'll just bring back in another B coach, but the rest I'm just going to leave. I don't think it's too important right now to deal with, seeing as how, like I said, we're still just a young franchise, and we're just going to be a bad team for a little while, and I just think it'd be cool to add a real-life player who's retired now to be the coach, but if he doesn't come, then it doesn't really matter who the other person is that fills the 3-76 record. I did also sign a couple of scouts. There's not a whole lot yet available that's better than what the game gives you right off the start. And now we're just going to wait and see if some of these guys we sent contracts to sign. So this was the retired player who was in Florida, Zach Delp. I made a to him, he's a B coach for the WHL, so I thought that's good. And Maya Frazee, she's going to be the scout for US Central, and everything else is just going to stay the same. And there we go. Brent Burns is the head coach of the Seattle Storm Bears. And you can see from the player morale, giving the spoiler, Brock Besser did sign. So that makes sense. Provorov rejected. We didn't give him exactly what he was looking for, obviously. And then Brock Besser, so he did not care that we're going to be a bad team. He was okay with getting paid $15 million to come play with Misa. So now I'm just going to have to fill out the rest of the roster. I'm not going to bore you with that. Well, I'm just going to take some time and look through, find some 80 to 75 overall players to fill out the roster, and I will pick this back up at the start of September with the edit line. Here we are at the start of year number 2 with our lines. We have Max Pacioretty, Misa, and Besser on the first line, given a +3. You have Cunnin, Glass, and I did sign 83 overall Duran. I was hoping he's going to play with Misa, but it looks like Pacioretty fits better there. You have Senny, Jost, and Leeson on the third line, and Puljujarvi, Barron, and Gusev on the fourth. I didn't edit this at all yet. This is all just the head coach recommended lines. On defense, we had to sign Bowen Barm. I forgot he was restricted. We ended up signing him $6 million for 8 years, which I think is a steal, especially with how much the cap is going to go up. It's a great contract for somebody who's hopefully going to be our #1 defenseman. You got Yoki Harju, Fleury, and Barry, and then Kemp with Ruedel. And goaltending wise, Dostal's up to an 85, and you have 79 overall James Reimer. In the AHL, a couple of guys that didn't quite crack the NHL are Kostin and Shipachev, as well as Radulov. We might have to call these guys up for them to count against the cap. I'm not exactly sure. I think maybe it's only a 1.25 million cap relief, so hopefully we're cap compliant. Goalies, Miners up to a 53, and then we have a 52 overall backup. And defensively, we didn't add anybody. All these were just the guys we drafted in the first year. And we're just going to leave it like that. We don't really have any prospects down here yet, so I'm not worried with this team being good. I might call up Kostin and Shipachev or Radulov just to see. I want to go back to the NHL just to see if they give better line chemistry. We also have Daniel Sprong, 81, scratched. He fits good on the second line, so we might have to throw him in. And then Brazo and Nylander also scratched. I tried to mostly sign guys who were known at one point in their careers, whether it was when they were in juniors or in the AHL or potentially coming into the NHL, as more skilled guys. Like Gusev was a really skilled KHL guy. Puljujarvi had loads of skill. People thought he was going to be a franchise forward. I brought Duran in. He's pretty offensively talented. Cody Glass had a high ceiling at first when he was drafted. And same thing with Sprong and Nylander, right? Those guys are all known as offensive players at one point in their careers. So we could take a look here and see. So Duran only gives a +2 on the first line, so Pacioretty will stay on the first line. Quickly look and see. All these guys kind of fit good where they are. Might have to move Cunnin. Say I put Leeson on the second line. That's going to give it a +1. I'm going to look and see if I put Sprong in, if that gives it higher than a +1. It doesn't, but he can stay there. He's a little bit higher overall. The point now is obviously just Misa needs to grow. So if him playing with Pacioretty and Besser, hopefully that helps him grow. We're not going to win a whole bunch of games. Like, we should win more than the 3 games we won in year #1, but I can't see us winning more than 20-25 games. We're just still not a good team, and obviously that's what we want. We don't want to just, oh, we tanked 1 year and got 1 player, now let's go win cups. No, we want to take this slow and build a core that can compete for a decade, not a team that's going to win 1 cup and be done. We'll take a look at the draft class quickly before we start simulating Season 2. You can see, obviously, we want the #1 overall pick Gavin McKenna, that's a franchise player. And outside of him, I'm not particularly aware of anybody else. You got Wayne Fairchild here. I don't know if he's a created player by Vassie's roster or if this is an EA player. I have no idea. Same thing with Chuck Cam. Yeah, Rubrek. I'm not familiar with any of these guys. So it'll be interesting. Our scouts are gonna actually have to work this year. That's why I made sure like we have scouts for every single league because we need to get scouts going. This is going to be crucial now. In year number one, you know all the top talent, you know who's going to be what. It's not a big deal, but now we don't know. I'm looking at this goalie here, William Lassell, 18th. He's ranked. I'm going to pin him. I know we have Rimpinen, but not a bad idea. If Lascelles, we get another first round pick, maybe we bring Lassell in. And then one other player I'm very interested in is Joe Aginla. Aginla is one of my favorite players, so it'd be cool to win cups with his son. So I just took care of our scouting off camera, just made sure everybody's in the right region. And with nothing else to look at, let's get this first month of simulation done in year number 2. And again, I'm going to let the head coach just choose the goal. We're not going to be a good team, so what do I care about making sure he does exactly what I want? Brock Besser, yes, we made all these promises to him. I actually never checked to see if he was on the PK, so I will go check that very quickly before we get the sim. Alright, Brock Besser was not on the penalty kill. Good thing just to check, don't want to piss him off. And here we go, get the sim started here in the preseason. I hope we have a good preseason. Be nice for the boys to know, get a taste of winning. Because, again, this year is going to be bad. I think we're going to get 19 wins. Be surprised if we see more than 25. So, I'm thinking just like last time, I'm going to cut the camera here. If anything interesting happens, I'll let you guys know. Otherwise, we'll see you after the first month of sim. So, not a terrible start to the season. 4-6-0 through the first 10. We're scoring 3.4 goals a game and allowing 4.10. Our power play is abysmal. And Michael Misa leads the squad with 12 points. Let's see. Kemp defensively with 6 points. Misa has 7 goals. Besser with 8 assists. And Dostal with 4 wins. And leading the league is Jake Gensel with 25 points in 10 games. You have Point, Kucherov, and Hedman all with over 20 points as well. You have Jack Hughes in New Jersey with 19 and Zibanejad as well. Goals, Pasta with 15, you have Point with 11, as well as Ovi, and then McKinnon at a goal a game with 10. And wow, Victor Hedman 19 assists in 10 games, Gensel has 18, and Nugent Hopkins with 15. And then your win leader, Vasilevsky with 8 wins in his first 9 games, and Shesterkin and Gustafsson following that up with 7 and 6 respectively. We'll take a look here quickly at our stats, see how these players are doing, because now we do kind of care about these guys. So Misa with 12 points in his first 10 games, that's good. I don't expect him to maintain that, but very good if he does. You have Besser as well with 12 points in 10 games. More of a passer than a sniper, which isn't what I thought, but that works for me. You have Drouin with 9 points in 10 games, as well as Pacioretty. Cunnin with 8, Glass with 7. Kemp defensively, our worst guy, has 6 points. Sprong with 5. Jost with 3. And Bone Barm not having the best start. Hopefully he picks it up. We want to see him grow. We don't want this $6 million to look like a bad deal. We want him to be a steal. And hopefully he's our future #1 guy. Quickly, we'll just take a look at the goalies. You've got Dostal 4 and 5 with a 8.89 and a 3.86 goals against. No shutouts so far. And Reimer, in the one game he's played, he had 4 goals against him. Not the best showing. And I just want to see where Misa compares to the rest of the league in terms of rookies. So right now he leads the rookie class by 5 points. You got Dvorsky, Samskevich, and Nikishin, as well as Frazee, who are going to challenge him for the Calder. Yeah, I really hope he wins it, obviously. Be nice to see him get some hardware early on in his career. So I'm going to go back to simulating and we'll go another 2 months. And if anything interesting happens, I'll let you know. If not, we'll see you then. So we're about halfway through simulating those 2 months. We're in December. Pop up to view the draft class. Just want to check this out and see if anybody has been scouted. So yeah, no surprise. Gavin McKenna, medium franchise potential, similar style Wayne Gretzky. He's ready now. He's got a few skills, so that's good. He's listed as a gem. We're gonna pin him. He's who we want. I'm pretty sure if we don't win the lottery, I will throw everything at the team that does to try to draft him, because this is how you start your franchise off right, is with a medium franchise. Fairchild has yet to been scouted. I'm gonna send the scout. Oh, interesting. No scouts in the region. I will have to fix that because we do want Fairchild to be scouted. This is where we're projected to pick, is between Rubrek, Belts, and Verhoff. I don't like that. Bajork, center right wing, medium elite. NHL ready, similar style Jumbo Joe. He'd be an interesting guy to bring in. So here we are in December, 7-18-1. It's not looking too good. We've definitely fallen back down to earth. The scoring dropped off quite a bit for us in November. I see it's picked up here a little bit in December, but again, we're just not getting the wins, and we're just not a good team. Honestly, I'm kind of regretting bringing in some of the guys we have, because look, even the Sharks are 5-25-2. Like, they should be a better team than us. We want to have the best odds at that number one overall pick, and you know, bringing in guys like Besser, Pacioretty, Druin, it's definitely helping Misa's growth for sure, but at what cost, right? So maybe that was a mistake. We'll have to see. Here we are, January 1st. We're 10-23-4. Not a bad record by any means compared to what our roster is. Daniel Sprong picked it up. Wow, he had 5 points in 10 games, and now he's up to 32 points. Yoki Harju leading the defense with 16. Michael Misa leading the team with goals and Besser assists. And Misa's 29 points now. Dostal up to 7 wins. We'll take a quick look at the league. At Gensel leading the way with 79 points. Asta with 51 goals in 38 games, so that's better than Gretzky's 50 and 39. And then you have Gensel with the assists, and then Vasilevsky's still leading in wins, with Skinner and Shesterkin hot on his heels. We'll quickly look at the rest of the team, see who's performing and who's struggling. So yeah, Sprong, 32 points in 37 games. Duran with 30, Glass with 30. So that second line has really picked it up, when the first line's kind of dropped off. Misa only 29 points now. But he's up, so he's 81 overall now. Third scoring line forward. That's good. So this is working. At least the growth is there. Brock Besser with only 25 points. He might dip. Like, he might lose overall here. He's not having the best season. Pacioretty is not doing too hot now. And then, yeah, just everybody else is kind of mid or exactly where they should be. And Bowen Byram, 11 points in 37 games. This is not what I thought I was bringing in. We're going to have to make sure for next year that we get him a better defense partner. Because I think after this year, it's okay if we're a better team, if we're a fringe playoff team. Because there's not really going to be some huge franchise guy that we know for sure. Like, we know McKenna is there, he's a sure thing. We want to have the best chance at him. But after this year, we don't really know what's going to be there. So if we don't tank after this year and we start trying to be a better team, I'd be okay with that. I think we're just going to sim right to the trade deadline now. If anything interesting happens, I'll make sure to keep you. Here we are coming up on the deadline. I'm going to list us as seller, and I'm going to enter the deadline again, and I want to see what is out there if we try to trade Brock Besser. I don't think I want to trade him at this trade deadline. I think I want to wait until year 3's deadline. But obviously, if there's a great deal out there, we want to get it now. Because the only thing, if we hold on to him, is that he's not having a good year, and I think he'll drop from his 88 overall. And I think he might be 86 or 85 at the start of next year. And obviously next year our team will be better, so there's a chance for him to grow again, but I don't want to risk it. So I'm going to start with finding a trade and see if there's even anything out there for him. With an open block, yeah, no trades. So we'd have to make it happen. I don't like that. We're going to see what's available, and I'm just going to scroll all the way to the end and look at the prospects. I don't think it's a good idea to take a pick. But obviously, looking here at the prospects, like, if somebody wants to get rid of somebody and what they want is a first line forward, then that's good for us. Alright, we just offer Besser and hope it works. Gabriel Perlow, top 6 forward. That's not a bad thing, but I think that's not worth Besser. Not the prospect I was hoping to see. They got Potter as well, same thing, second line forward. Bell Belize, Johansson, Miramanov, Athanasiou. So yeah, nothing really here. Hildebee's not really a prospect anymore. McKinney, they want a top 4D in return. Yeah, nothing that really stands out. Not worth trading Besser right now, especially there's nobody wants him really if we can't find a trade for it, so I think we just hold on to him. There's nothing here that's really standing out where it's like, yeah, this is what you need. Trade Besser and make this happen. I wouldn't mind Dobbs, but 24 at only 81, that's not the best either. See if there's any other roster players we could add maybe. Avs are looking to get rid of Landeskog, that's not going to help us. Ben. Zach, holy, I missed this. Zach Benson. Left wing, 20 years old. The Sabres want to get rid of him. He's kind of exactly what we want right now, and they want Besser. Oh, let's pray Besser will waive his clause. There we go. He says, my trade list isn't good enough for you. Fine, I'll waive it. So that's good. We could pretty much trade him anywhere now that he waived. Well, that's Bombard. I'm sorry, I meant Brock Besser. Buffalo would be over the league maximum, but we're just going to retain. Like, we can retain half because that'll help us keep to the cap. And again, only on a 2-year deal. We're not really going to need to be paying anyone significant for 3 years. Like, I'm just lining it up with Misa. So for 2 years, we can afford this. Plus, it helps us stay at the cap floor as well. So here we are, 50% retained. Buffalo would be over the league maximum for next year. Okay, what do you have for contracts? We're gonna have to make this a blockbuster here. They got Jordan Greenway, so that gets league approved now. I don't think they say yes to this. Skaters matching their blocker, Byram, who they traded to us. Yoki Harju and Fleury. I would be willing to trade Yoki Harju in this deal. They'd be over the cap again for next year. Don't know if they're gonna have anyone with cap like Greenway. Let's see here. And Lafferty is only on a 1-year deal. Yeah, there's nobody. He doesn't add any value, so we'll take Yoki Harju off. No, decline this trade. And we'll look at picks. Draft picks. We got a 2nd rounder this year. I'd be fine with losing if it means getting Zach Benson. Okay, so they will say yes. We're going to see if we can get a pick in return. Okay, so we can get a 3rd in return and they still say yes. Can we get a 2nd? Value's too far off. Okay, so we'll get a 3rd and a 4th. No, they won't do a 3rd and a 4th. Will they do a 3rd and a 5th? So they want us to sweeten it just a touch. We'll add a 7th. There we go. Welcome to the Storm Bears, Zach Benson. I think that's much better for us to have that youth instead of Besser. Obviously, Besser has done great things for us, helping Misa, but this is about the future, and Besser's not that. So we're just going to exit the trade deadline now, maybe get any pop-ups if anybody else made a huge trade. Nope, nobody else did. Alright. So let's go look at editing the lines now. That was a big trade. I wasn't expecting to make that kind of trade. I missed Benson the first time I went through, so I'm happy I looked back again. Yeah, that's the only problem, is that Besser's things were going to give us chemistry. Now Benson doesn't have any. Just have to look there and see what we can do here. Benson fits best on the second line. Braun. So Cody Glass fits the first line. Senny, Jost. So Tyson Jost at center. Misa on the left wing. There we go. That's a +1 at least. I don't think. Yeah, we'll keep the +2 with Pacioretty, Druin, and Glass. And I don't care that much about the third line or the fourth line. Defensively, yep, this is gonna have to do. Goaltending wise, those still down to an 85, or from an 85 down to an 80. So his morale is just tanked. That's not good. He's on a long-term deal too. I'll have to look into that in the off season. Quickly, we're just gonna check the power play. Yeah, it's gonna have to be good enough. Alright, so that was a pretty big trade deadline for us, getting Zach Benson. That's one more piece to the puzzle for the future. We're not going to record any more of the sim. We're just going to pick this back up at the end of the regular season. And the end of year number 2 ends with a 7-4 loss to the Los Angeles Kings. I like that there was improvement on the squad this year, obviously not being a bunch of AHL plugs. We're able to win handful of games there, 21, 55, and 6. Dren ended up leading the team in points with 56. Jokiharju had 33 points on the back end. Sprong with 26 goals. Glass 37 assists. And Misa ended up with 50 points as a rookie. Dolstol with 14 wins. And once again, Kucherov with the Art Ross. You had Pasta with 107 goals, smashing McKinnon's record of 96. You got McKinnon had 92 goals this year. And assist leaders, once again, Nugent Hopkins is up there, 119 in 81 games. And then you've got Vasilevsky, 53 wins in 65 games. You got Skinner and Aiden Hill with Blackwood and Ottinger rounding out the top 5. We'll take a look at our stats quickly. We want to see how the boys did this year. So yeah, Sprong with 53 points, Glass with 52, Cunnin with 51 on the third line. That's pretty good. We got Michael Misa with 50, 25 goals, 25 assists. We gotta take a look at Benson. Okay, he did not play all 82 games with us, so that must be a glitch. But, oh no. Yeah, here we go. Okay, 16 points in 19 games played. That's pretty good. Shows he's gonna have some chemistry with with Misa, sorry. So you love to see that. Pacioretty, Jokiharju with 33. Bonebarm ended up picking it up in the second half. He had 20 points to end the season. That's decent. Actually, the most points of his career. So yeah, he really did pick it up there at the end, which bodes well for us. We got Greenway. I don't believe he even played a game for us. Oh no, they did put him in. He had 8 points in 19 games. That's not bad. Berry, Gusev, Barron, Pulger Harvey, Fleury, Camp, and Ruedel to round it out. And then yeah, Lucas Dostal now down to a 79 overall, 14, 44, and 5, an 8.72 with a 4.72 goals against. So the biggest focus in the year 3 offseason is going to be defense. We need to make sure we have a core that is going to be able to at least help keep the puck out of the back of the net, because if every goalie we have just comes in and goes from 85 to 79, we are in trouble. Okay, the regular season, everyone else's regular season must not be done. We got to advance a couple days here so we can see the playoff picture. So there we go. The regular seasons are complete. Quickly, let's just see. Did the AHL team make the playoffs? They did not. So here we go. The playoff picture. You have the Stars versus the Jets, the Avs versus the Predators, the Knights versus the Kings, and to round out the West, the Oilers versus the Wild. In the East, you have the Capitals versus the Devils, the Canes versus the Bruins, the Leafs versus the Panthers again, and the Lightning versus the Red Wings. We're going to go sim the playoffs, and we'll see who the champion. And here's something you're never going to see in real life. The Toronto Maple Leafs win the Stanley Cup. They beat the Panthers in 6 games in round 1. They swept the Lightning and the Bruins in round 2 and 3, with the Avalanche beating the Predators in 7 games, then the Stars in 5, and the Oilers in 7. And the Toronto Maple Leafs beat the Avalanche in 7 games. Back-to-back Stanley Cup losers for the Avs. Hate to see that. We're going to go sim up to the draft, see. Hopefully we won the draft lottery. I don't think we were the worst team in the league. I'm pretty sure the Sharks were worse than us, but never mind. We were the worst team. Seattle. We win the draft lottery. We get McKenna. That is huge for us, boys. That's a big building block now. Yeah, Vancouver move up from 12 to 2. Edmonton had San Jose's pick and dropped from 2 to 3. Utah dropped from 3 to 4, and Buffalo dropped from 4 to 5. That is huge for us, boys, that we didn't move down. And huge for Vancouver that they moved up that much. We'll take a look at the draft class and see if any of this other guys got scouted, sorry. Wayne Fairchild never got scouted. Interesting. I put a scout there, so I'm not sure why. But anyways, you got McKenna at franchise medium. You got Chuck Cam, medium elite. Rubrek, medium elite. Verhoff, most likely medium elite. So yeah, there's a bunch of good guys here. We obviously know who we're taking. If we took anybody else, it'd be just abysmal. But yeah, there we go. Our franchise player to build around. Let's look at the retired players here. You got Vlasic calling it quits, Jack Johnson, Trevor Lewis, Derek Ryan, Bogosian, Glendening, and Kyle Clifford. Any other defensemen that might not have showed up? Ruda, Hunt, and then goalies. You got Tokarski, Berube, Oreo, and Grosnick. We're just going to check quickly, make sure none of our coaches retired. Nice, they did not. Bertuzzo is now a scout. And we're going to continue simming. We're not going to worry about the draft interviews. We know who we're taking. So yeah, another great episode here. So happy that we won the draft lottery. It's huge for us moving forward. Let me know what you guys think down below. I hope you're enjoying the series so far. I know I'm having a blast with it. Make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and YouTube. We'll see you in the next one.